2 years of marriage. 2 years of watching Jake grow taller, louder, more himself every single day. I thought I'd stop being surprised by the ordinary moments of our life together. Then one word, said completely by accident, changed the whole room. My name is Ryan Mitchell, and this is the story of the night my son called Sarah Mom for the first time. And the person who reacted to it wasn't who any of us expected.
We'd started a tradition a year earlier, Sunday dinners that included Emily whenever her schedule allowed. It had felt strange at first, all of us at one table, old wounds and new beginnings sitting side by side over roast chicken and mashed potatoes. But somewhere along the way, strange had become simply normal. Jake was 11 now, gangly and constantly hungry, deep into a phase of talking about nothing but his upcoming school science fair. Sarah was helping him build a small volcano model at one end of the table, while Emily and I set out the last of the dishes. "Mom, can you hand me the baking soda?" Jake asked, distracted, focused entirely on positioning a toothpick flag at the volcano's peak. The table went quiet. Sarah's hand froze halfway to the baking soda box. I looked up from the serving dish, and Emily, sitting directly across from Jake, went completely still. Jake, still absorbed in his volcano, hadn't even noticed what he'd said. Sarah recovered first, handing him the baking soda like nothing unusual had happened. "Here you go, bud." "Thanks, Mom," Jake said again, just as easily, already moving on to measuring vinegar into a small cup. I glanced at Emily. Her eyes had filled with tears, and for a moment I braced myself, unsure which direction this was about to go, hurt or something else entirely. She caught me looking and gave a small, wet laugh, wiping quickly at her eyes with her napkin. "I'm okay," she said, before I could even ask. "I promise I'm okay. Just give me a second." Jake finally looked up, noticing the shift in the room. "Wait, what happened? Was it something I said?" Sarah reached over and gently squeezed Jake's shoulder. "You just called me Mom, sweetheart, for the first time." Jake blinked, processing this, his cheeks going slightly red. "Oh, I didn't even notice I said that. Is that bad?" "No," Emily said quickly, her voice thick but steady now. "No, honey, it's not bad at all. Can I tell you something?" Jake nodded, looking between his mother and Sarah with the careful attention he'd always had for moments he sensed were important. "A few years ago," Emily said slowly, "I was really scared that if you grew close to Sarah, it meant there'd be less room for me. That loving her would mean loving me less. It took me a long time, and a lot of growing up on my part, to understand that's not how love actually works." "So why are you crying?" Jake asked, still uncertain. "Because hearing you call her Mom just now, it didn't feel like losing something. It felt like finally understanding, all the way down, that you have more love in your life than I ever could have given you on my own. And that's a good thing, Jake. That's such a good thing." Sarah visibly moved herself, reached across the table and took Emily's hand, a gesture that would have seemed impossible between them years earlier. "Emily, you didn't lose anything," Sarah said gently. "You're still his mom. You'll always be his mom. I'm not replacing that, and I never wanted to. I just wanted to be someone extra in his corner." "I know that now," Emily said. "I think some part of me has known it for a while. It just hit differently, hearing it out loud like that, so casually, like it was the most natural thing in the world." "Was it natural?" I asked Jake gently. "Did it feel weird to say, or did it just come out?" Jake shrugged, still a little embarrassed by all the attention. "It just came out. I don't really think about it, honestly. You're my mom," he said, looking at Emily. "And you're also my mom," he added, looking at Sarah. "I don't know. It just makes sense to me." Eager to escape the emotional spotlight, Jake gestured back toward his half-finished science project. "Can we please finish the volcano now? It's due Wednesday, and I still need to paint it." The moment broke into laughter, the kind of relieved, grateful laughter that comes after something significant has passed gently instead of painfully. Sarah returned to helping him position the baking soda, and Emily, still occasionally wiping her eyes, moved to help too, the three of them working together on a middle school science project like it was the most ordinary thing in the world. I sat back for a moment, just watching. 2 years earlier, at our wedding, Jake had drawn a picture insisting our unconventional family belong together. Watching this moment, I realized that drawing hadn't just been a child's hopeful wish. It had actually become true. After Emily left and Jake had gone to bed, exhausted from a full day of dinner, science projects, and unexpected emotional breakthroughs, Sarah and I sat together in the kitchen, finishing the dishes. "How are you feeling?" I asked her. "That was a big moment." "Honestly," she said, drying a plate slowly, "I've been hoping for that moment for 2 years, and now that it's happened, it feels less like an ending and more like confirmation. Like something that was already true just finally got said out loud." "And Emily?" I asked. I wasn't sure how she'd react, if I'm being honest. 2 years ago, I don't think she could have handled it, Sarah said. But the Emily I know now, the one who shows up every Sunday, who calls just to check on Jake's science fair progress, who cried happy tears tonight instead of hurt ones, that Emily has done real work to get to this place. I think we all have. The next morning, over breakfast, I found a quiet moment to ask Jake about it directly. "Hey, bud, about last night, are you doing okay with all of it? It's a lot of big feelings for one dinner." Jake considered this seriously, the way he'd always processed big questions since he was small. "I think I'm okay. I used to worry it would make Mom sad if I got too close to Sarah. But last night she said it made her happy instead. So I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore." "That's a pretty grown-up thing to have been carrying around," I said. "I'm sorry if that worry was ever on your shoulders." "It's okay, Papa," he said, already reaching for more cereal. "Everybody in this family worries about everybody else. I think that's just what makes it a family. Out of the mouths of 11-year-olds, apparently, come the truths the rest of us spend years learning the hard way." Looking back over everything, the deployment, the divorce, the custody battles, the slow rebuilding, the wedding, and now this, I don't think any of us could have predicted that the family we ended up with would look quite like this. But watching Emily and Sarah work side by side on a baking soda volcano, watching Jake move so easily between two mothers who both genuinely love him, I wouldn't trade this version of our family for the simpler one I once thought I wanted. If you've ever worried that loving someone new meant losing someone else, if you've ever watched a family take a shape you never expected, but somehow it fits better than the one you planned, I want you to know, love doesn't run out. It just keeps making more room. If this story moved you, let me know in the comments. And if you have a story of your own, share it below. It might just become our next episode. This is Silent Love, and this was a story about a family big enough for everyone who loves him.